so clever. Look at that. Hello everyone and welcome to the Carcode YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Sam. Today I'm checking out the updated 2026 model year KIA Niro HEV. I have already reviewed the 2025 Niro and I was very impressed, so I'm excited to be testing out this car. Firstly, a huge thanks to KIA UK PR for lending me this car for a week so I can give it a thorough in-depth review. If you know anything about Kia and Hyundai, you know they like to keep up to date with things, and this is no different. So today I'm going to go through a few tweaks that have been made for the 2026 model year KIA Niro. If that sounds good, keep watching to the end for a full overview. Starting off with the exterior design of the Niro, it's very clear very little has changed. Something that has changed though is the naming of the different grades on the vehicle. You used to have 2, 3 and 4. They've changed those specs to Pure, Evolve and Aspire. This is the top spec Aspire here today, which is equivalent to what the 4 was, so it's got plenty of equipment on the vehicle. The front of the Niro is most definitely my favourite angle. It kind of looks like an alien or a little bug. It's quite cute and very unique, it's safe to say. As this is the Aspire model and also on the Evolve, you do get the gloss black bumpers, which I think look a lot sportier and a lot better, similar to what you'd see on a GT line on a Sportage, for example. You've of course got the new Kia badging. It's not very new anymore, but it still looks new, and then Kia's signature tiger nose, so it all looks really good. On the standard Pure model, you just have halogen headlights with LED daytime running lights. However, on the mid-spec and this top spec, you do have the full LEDs, which look fantastic. They also do have auto high beam. I'll show you those now. And there's the beautiful full LED headlights, which work very well. These might be flashing on camera, but they don't in real life. They're very dynamic and just very different, which I really like. To the side of the Niro, again, nothing has changed. It looks excellent, especially on the top 2 trims with the gloss black side skirts and the wheel arches as well. I tested the 2 model earlier in the year, and this was all matte cladding, so it had a more of an SUV look, whereas this definitely has a sportier look. I absolutely love these C-shaped indicators as well on the top 2 trims. Unfortunately, on the Pure model, it's just like a very small one here. It reminds me of like a 2002 Ford Focus almost. It looks a little bit old-fashioned. You can't say the same about this though, it looks so good. Just a shout out to the front indicators as well. So cool, very impactful and not tiny teeny like we see on a lot of cars now. One thing that I do wish was different on the top 2 trims on the outside is I do wish that the A and B pillars were also in gloss black, because they're in matte plastic, so they'd definitely look better in gloss. Just to match the lower section, I think it would give it a more clean look. But there's nothing offensive about the side of the car. They did used to have different colour blade sections when they launched the Niro in 2022, but unfortunately you can only have it all in one body colour now. Unfortunately, there's not many funky colours to match the funky styling, which is a shame. They used to have a really lovely orange colour, which I thought looked really great on the car, and Kia is capable of making some really fun coloured cars, but the same is not true on the Niro. There is nice tasteful colours to choose from though on the HEV, a total choice of 5 different options. As standard, it now comes in the white pearl, which is my favourite on the Niro. I think it looks very sleek and it's a nice contrast, especially with the gloss sections on the higher specs. I think it looks great. Optional paintworks are £620, including this steel grey, which is more of a silver colour actually, and suits the car well. You've also got runway red, which used to be the standard colour on the Niro, but is now £620. Interstellar grey, which is a dark grey metallic, and midnight black, which looks very sleek on the car, of course. Going up to the plug-in hybrid model, you do have 2 more colours. Strangely, you don't get them on the HEV. Those 2 colours are the mineral blue, which I really like. It's like a dark denim colour, and also the cityscape green. It's kind of like a khaki colour and something different, which is always good. A facelift Niro is kind of rumoured, but nothing is confirmed as of yet. It's on the Korean car blogs of like images of it disguised and stuff. If that does come, it would likely be end of next year, 2027, I'm guessing, because they've just released this refresh model year car. To the rear, the Niro is very much the same. Again, it's very much inspired by the 2019 Habanero concept of the Niro, and it has a lot of the design cues of that car. It's no different for the 2025 model year car either. You've still got a rear wiper, you've still got this really wide brake light at the top, which looks great. Unfortunately though, you've still got these really low down indicators. This is something that the Kia Hyundai Group cars are moving away from. They're bringing them higher up. Like on the Sportage, they put them into the rear light clusters, which is great, but this still has the low down ones. Hopefully, if a facelift does come, they'll be moved up into these lights. At least they are a large indicator though, not tiny ones. I've seen so many cars on the road with tiny indicators, especially at the rear. I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking as well that this rear design looks very much inspired by another iconic, maybe, very controversial small SUV, the Nissan Juke, especially the original one. That doesn't bother me too much, it just might not be to everyone's taste. It's a little bit Kia Soul as well, and you still have these long lights. I'll turn it on so you can see those. There you go, that's how they look. I just wish they doubled up as the indicators on the car as well. The thing that helps the Niro to be so efficient is these real life air curtains, which allows air to travel through the car, making it more aerodynamic, and these flat blade sections. It's very clever, and it means it's got a drag coefficient of just 0.29. If that doesn't mean much to you, don't worry, it means it's very aerodynamic, even though it's got such a boxy shape. Wheels on the Niro range from 16 to 18 inches. As standard on the Pure model, it comes in these 16-inch diamond cut alloy wheels, which do look really good, if a little bit small for the car. They definitely provide a really comfortable ride though, as are the same I tested in the 2 spec. So they look good. However, they are wrapped in budget tyres, so I do remember stopping wasn't the best. When you slammed on the brakes, it could kind of skip along the road a little bit. These are much better. Going up to the mid-spec Evolve and this top-spec Aspire model, you get these 18-inch diamond cut alloy wheels wrapped in Continental premium contact tyres, which are really grippy, a nice premium tyre brand. Ride comfort is sacrificed a little bit on the bigger wheel, however it's not too bad. Of course you are in an SUV, so you're slightly higher up, so that also helps. The distance between you and the ground is more, and you don't really ever get massive bumps and shocks through the car. It is definitely a firmer suspension though, but that does help with your cornering, making it not really sporty, but just a little bit more agile. Unfortunately, the 17-inch alloy wheels on the Niro are only available on the EV version. They would be the best of both worlds though, providing more comfort. But these 18s aren't bad at all for comfort, and they definitely look better than the standard wheels, don't you think? Something Kia added as standard on the last model year update of the Niro was keyless entry. As you approach the car, as you can see, the door mirrors folded out, so you think, oh, it's unlocked for me. But it's not. You do have to press this little black button there to unlock the car. It's nice that it's a standard feature, I definitely appreciate that, but this black button does make it look a little bit cheaper. It's the same as what you get on the standard keyless entry systems on the Sportage, but on the top of the range Sportage I much prefer the kind of body coloured little button. It's a very minor styling thing, but it just makes it look a little bit more dated in my opinion. To lock it as well, you just press the button again, like so. The main changes though on the 2026 model year Niro is the drivetrain. So let's take it for a drive and see how it differs from the previous model. As I say, it's not just skin deep some of the changes, or name deep, because the main thing here of change is the naming strategy on the vehicle. It's actually the hybrid powertrain. So as the name suggests, HEV, it's a hybrid, self-charging hybrid. It's got a 1.32 kilowatt hour small hybrid battery, so that's not changed. Still got the 1.6 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, and Kia's own second generation 6-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. A change that has happened though is an increase in power from 127 brake horsepower to 136 brake horsepower. Can you feel it? Not massively, it doesn't feel like a big difference. The official 0 to 62 figure is not very impressive, 11.4 seconds. The figures seem to be underselling the car quite a bit. We're doing 64 now. You do have the regen paddles on Evolve and Aspire models, which is really handy. The standard Pure model, which was the 2 spec, didn't have regen paddles. It's just got a different shifter. So I didn't enjoy that as much as this, which has got the paddles, which you can change for regen, or in sport mode, they become the actual physical gear paddles and you can change the gears manually, which is great. Also, a nice thing with the car is when you are under high regen, the brake lights do come on, just to let people know that you are decelerating quite quickly. It's just something to be aware of. You still have 265 Newton meters of torque as well, and it does feel quite torquey and ready to go, especially once it's warmed up. This is a car that really, when you first start, it can sound quite loud and a little bit groggy, if you like. Once it's warmed up, it tends to go into EV mode a little bit more and just seem to be smoother to drive. This isn't a car that wants to be thrashed around everywhere. It's not a fast vehicle. It just is a nice car to leisurely drive around in. Yes, it does have a bit of power if you do need to put your foot down, get onto the dual carriageway, as I just did with no issues at all. You've got that there, but generally it's about efficiency, which it does very well. Let's take a quick look under the bonnet of the Niro. Shush. I know that it's open. It is on hydraulics, which is lovely, and it's such a light bonnet. Kia have done a lot to save weight on this car to make it as efficient as possible, including taking away the reverse gear of the car when they launched this Niro, saving 2 kilograms. This is the SmartStream 6 hybrid powertrain. It's the naturally aspirated version, now providing 136 brake horsepower, up from 127. You've still got 265 newton meters of torque as well. The gearbox is pretty slick as well, which is really nice. I'm in EV mode right now though. It's just very quiet. It is a really nice car to drive because it's just smooth. It's very refined as well. The mirrors are good. You don't get much wind noise either from the door mirrors, which is great. The same can't be said about a lot of MG vehicles. They bring a lot of wind noise from the mirrors. A competitor of this car would be the MG ZS Hybrid Plus. However, in some cases you get what you pay for. The standard sound system on that car is probably one of the worst I've ever listened to. If you do want to watch my full review on that and maybe sound systems aren't a bother to you, you can click up there because it is a cheaper alternative to this vehicle. I do wish you could sit a little bit lower because you do sit quite high up and this is the lowest my seat will go. So that would be one thing that I would say could be better. You can hear when you first set off, can be a little bit loud at times. You've also got your little regen here with the paddles. That resets each time you start the car, but not when you've changed the paddles. So if I leave it on level 3 now, it will just stay on level 3. And it's very strong regen, especially for a hybrid. But it's great because you can have every level from nothing. So this is no regen now. So if I come off the accelerator, the car just keeps coasting just as a normal internal combustion engine car would. Or you can have level 1, bit stronger, level 2, stronger again, or level 3, which is a lot stronger. It's not a full one pedal driving mode, but it is really good and actually stronger than some EVs. Looking behind me, level 3. Look how strong this regen is. It takes you down to a very slow creep, which is really good. So it's not a complete stop, but it's good. Most hybrids don't give you a complete stop self-charging. I normally leave it on like level 1 because it is quite strong in level 1 anyway. Unfortunately, on the EV Kias, with the high regen on, the accelerator pedal becomes quite stiff and like you're fighting it almost. This hybrid though, it doesn't make a difference what regen you're on. The accelerator has the same feel, so it doesn't feel like you're fighting against it and it doesn't really fatigue your foot, which is good. It's also a lot lighter, the accelerator, than on the Honda HR-V hybrid. Brakes are nice and positive. And I love the view out of it, it's just great. There's not much blind spots. B-pillars as well aren't actually that wide, so you don't get a massive blind spot there either. You do have blind spot monitoring on this car as well. However, it's not on the inside of the mirrors, which I do prefer. It's on the very outside, but they do come up on the heads-up display on this Aspire, which I really like. The lane assist can be quite harsh, but you just turn it off by holding down this button, and it changes amber there, which is good. The high regen really does help your economy as well, which is great. When I had the 2 specification, the 2025 model year, I got 66 miles per gallon in that car, over 66. I was driving it a lot on the motorway, a lot in traffic as well, and did over 600 miles in that car. And it seemed to love it. It really did. And I really enjoyed it too. It was comfortable. It was a nice car to spend a lot of time in. I've not driven as much in this car this week, but like I say, the economy and performance does sharpen up a lot more after you've been driving it for 10-15 minutes. Yeah, and the lumps and bumps, it's not too bad at all. Corners nicely, grips better to the road with these Continental tyres than the budget tyres on the entry model. It doesn't feel top heavy either going around corners. You can definitely feel that it's a relatively lightweight car. And nice that you don't have to be using your brakes all the time because you've got that regen. Acceleration. If you put your foot down, the engine does really kick in. I want to try the brakes and see if it skips along the road though or not. Right, I don't want to slam on too much for it. very controlled, much better than the standard tyres. One thing I do really like about this car, and many say about it as well, is just how ergonomic it is, easy to use, everything is where you need it to be. Unlike some Chinese rivals. You've also got auto hold that you don't have to turn on every time like you do in a Mazda. You can see the rev counter, I've left it on this one just so you can kind of see what the car's doing, but you can have it on the eco and power flow one as well, which is why I've generally been leaving it on. It's so nice though that on a hybrid you can still have a rev counter, because lots of hybrids don't have the option to even look at it, like in Honda and Toyota's case. I've put it on this one now instead, the charge and the eco and the power display, which is quite good. So that's not a rev counter as such, but it just lets you know what the car's doing. And then the little EV light will come on when it's just driving in electric. EV's there, so that means we're driving in electric. It does that more so in town, of course. If you just accelerate smoothly, this car really is happy. You kind of got to treat it nicely and it'll look after you with that amazing economy. It is not going to be a car that's going to blow you away in terms of performance, but generally it's very consistent in every mode that you're in. Whether you're driving an electric or hybrid, it's very good, which I really like. When the revs drop down to EV, there's no difference in the drive feel, so it just makes it really nice. Like now that the engine's kicked back in, it's at low revs, you can't feel it. I don't like driving hybrids that sometimes you feel like you're driving a tractor, sometimes you feel like you're driving a full electric silent car. This is not like that. There's minimal difference between having the engine on, unless you're really pushing it. Okay, so you can definitely feel the difference there, but only when you put your foot down, and you can hear how quick it actually goes up into a higher gear and then is just chill, calm. You've also got the drive mode selector just on the steering wheel, which I really like, so everything's very convenient. I will just pop it in sport so you can see the difference. The dials go red. Acceleration feels a little bit sharper, but not massively. But now the paddles are for the gears, so you can hear. And that's your rev counter. You can rev it out a bit more and use the paddles to shift, which is quite nice, and it is physical gears, so it is a proper gearbox. It's not fake gears like we see on the group's electric vehicles, which is quite fun, but these are real gears. So it's telling me to shift up to 6th, and I can do that like that and drop the revs down, or easily enough just press drive mode and it goes back into eco, and then these are your regen paddles again. It's just nice and quiet. It does generally feel a little bit quieter, I find, and especially when you're pushing it, it kind of evens out a little bit more than what a hybrid with a CVT or eCVT does. For example, the Honda HR-V, which is a clear competitor to this vehicle. That does have a more of a stylish, chic vibe, I suppose, than this car, whereas this is more practical, more for families. I like the fact that it's got the dual clutch gearbox, which is quite uncommon for hybrids. They normally, like I say, have an eCVT or some sort of faux transmission. This is better because when you do put your foot down, it's got those gears to shift up, and when the engine is running, it's running at very low revs when you're on the motorway, for example, because it's in that 6th gear. But if you are looking for a sporty car, the Niro is probably not one for you. So going on to the dual carriageway now. There we go, it can sound a bit loud, but then it shifts up into its higher gears so quickly, which is fantastic. Does it feel like a massive upgrade from the 2025 model year with 127 brake horsepower? Not especially, no. I don't think I can really feel a massive difference. Maybe if I drove them back to back, you would. The Kia Sportage really impressed me with the 1.6 litre turbocharged SmartStream hybrid system, whereas this is obviously just naturally aspirated. It would be great to see Kia put that turbo version in the Niro. That might be something they'll do in the future, but the thing about this car is it's set up for economy, not for sportiness, and of course it's a lot lighter and a bit smaller than the Sportage, so it doesn't need as much power as that car does. It's not quite as quiet on the road at faster speeds as the Sportage. Obviously it's quite a light vehicle as well. In the Sportage I think it might have a bit more soundproofing, but it's not bad at all. It is one of the quieter cars out there. Road noise is a bit more pronounced on 18s because that ride's a bit firmer, so especially on rougher bits like this, Niro is a little bit louder. You also have auto regen with 3 different levels, and you have the smart recuperation mode, which kind of looks at the cars in front and will apply more regen, or if there's nothing there, it'll more kind of coast and freewheel, which is great. So especially if you're not used to regen, it could be a good one to use. And on the pure spec, it's the only type of regen you have access to, basically, because you don't have the paddles. The electronic handbrake doesn't come on by itself, you just have to pull it up, but it's fine and parks here. I like the rotary gear selector, you do get used to it quite quick, and it tends to not skip itself and go into neutral like some cars do. So if you put your foot on the brake, go to reverse, it goes straight into reverse. It's not faffy at all, I like it. The pure spec does have a proper shifter, but then I don't mind this one at all. After using it, it's fine. It's the same as in the Sportage as well. So I just did a short drive there on country roads and dual carriageway, and you can see 7.8 miles, 73.4 miles per gallon, which is excellent. It really likes that sort of 40 miles an hour driving. My whole time with the vehicle, I've averaged 52.4 miles per gallon, which isn't too bad. As I say, on some journeys, it can do really, really amazing miles per gallon. And then there's some faster driving where I've been testing it a little bit more. So it isn't as impressive as what you get on the car with the smaller wheels. But this car, for a hybrid, actually does really like long journeys. So this isn't too bad over 164. That would go up over time. It depends how you drive it as well. But 52.4, you can't really argue with that. And obviously, it's self-charging. And how about the interior of the Niro? What do I think? Well, it's nice, if a little bit dull. Its one saving grace is this ambient lighting, which you can change the colours of, which just goes on this section, so it doesn't go all around the vehicle, but it is very nice. You've got the different colours that they have set, so you can have like purple, green, blue, or you can go into your custom colour and literally have any colour you want. There is a lot of colours there to choose from. And this kind of nice silver trim. It looks kind of like it's on an aeroplane or something like that. You've also got this dimple dash, which reminds me of my Mark 3.5 Volkswagen Golf Cabrio. That is a car that is a 2000 plate, so 25 years. But I do prefer it just to a flat grain. It's like a bit of texture, which is nice. Materials are okay. I'm not a massive fan of this material on the door card. It's like a plasticky fabric, really. The plastics are a little bit nicer in the front than they are in the back. They're a bit harder, but it's not too bad. It's all screwed together quite well. You don't have carpeted door pockets, there's little things like that, and there is quite a bit of gloss black on this lower section, which I'm not a fan of. What I am a fan of though is on this top spec model, you've got wireless charging, you got the heated and ventilated front seats and the heated steering wheel, which is lovely on the car. Everything is where you need it to be, which is great, and something that so many cars are moving away from. Kia seems to be continuing to keep customers happy with what they know. You've also got the cup holders, which you can tuck away or pop out. They've got rid of most of the gloss black in the Sportage due to customers and reviewers' feedback as well. This kind of metal trim though, it's also in the doors. It's hard to see, but you can kind of see it when you open it. It's got a nice texture to it. On this Aspire model, it does come with the small little sunroof as well. So it's not a full panoramic sunroof, but it is really nice and it does open. It's very old school moonroof, isn't it? My sister's 2004 Civic has literally got the same feature, but I really love it. And then you've also got your little manual blind. The roof lining though doesn't feel the most quality. The seats themselves have remained the same from the previous model year as well, so they're very comfortable, nice ergonomic seats with the headrests, which are like that. But they don't lie when they call them headrests, because that's what they are. You can actually rest your head on it while you're driving, which lots of cars you can't, and it's very comfortable. So really nice. It's not rock hard like you see in some competitors. So I really appreciate that. Really soft, even in the synthetic leather. As standard on the Pure model, you get the full cloth seating, which is very comfortable because I tested it in the 2 model and I didn't mind it at all. Doesn't look the most premium, but it is comfortable. My favourite though is the mid-spec Evolve, because it's got the synthetic leather sides and then the fabric cloth centre, which does look really good. Top spec Aspire gives you these synthetic leather seats, which have got like a dark grey centre and then the black on the outer. These are breathable though, because they are cooled, ventilated seats, which is very nice, and they are heated. Mid-spec Evolve does bring the heated seats though, and heated steering wheel, and on the Pure model you don't have any heating or cooling on the seats. As for your electronic adjustment, the driver's seat is electronically adjustable on Evolve and Aspire, and the passenger seat just on the top spec Aspire model, with what they call the zero gravity seat. Whee! Nice. So basically it just reclines your back so you're nice and chilled out. A little bit like the passenger seat on the recent car I tested in the Cherry Tiggo 8, a plug-in hybrid 7-seat SUV, available at a starting price similar to this car actually. If you want to watch that video, you can click up there. That had a very fancy leg extender, which the Niro doesn't have unfortunately, but it's still a nice feature for your passenger to definitely chill out. You've also got this armrest. You can't adjust it at all, but it is very comfortable where it is. You've got a little bit of storage space there as well, and you can even slot that out to give you a little bit more room, so that's good. This is your driver's view. This is your steering wheel two spoke one, which does look nice. The drive modes are here. You've got sport and eco. I've generally been leaving in eco mode, which has been fine. You've still got these dials which are switchable between your media and nav controls and the climate. I normally just leave it on the climate, which is fine. Really easy to use. Top two trims give you wireless phone charging, which is excellent. You've also got USB-C and USB. Unfortunately, you do have to plug your phone in to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I'll show you this now as well. When you pop it in reverse, the rear camera does come up, and mid-spec and above gives you front and rear sensors. As standard though, you do get the rear camera and the rear sensors. The rear camera is really clear, which is good. And the mirrors do tilt when you pop it in reverse, which is also handy. You do also have a couple of views of the car, so you can have that above view, which is really handy if you want to get really close to something or you're in a very tight space, so that's nice to see. They don't have 360 cameras though, so some competitors win in that regard, such as the Nissan Juke and also the Honda HR-V on the top specs, but it wouldn't bother me. On this sort of size of car, it's not really a big need. Also great to see this 10.25-inch central screen is standard across the range, which is really nice. The 10.25-inch digital dials though aren't standard, so you just get a 4.2-inch TFT display in the middle and then kind of faux digital dials at the sides. Online it doesn't look that great. In practice, when you're actually using it, it's not too bad. It looks almost like fully digital dials, just not quite as nice as these on the top spec Aspire model. The heads-up display on this Aspire model as well is great. It gives you the speed and the speed sign recognition, and you can just keep your eyes on the road, so I really like that. If you do want all the features, you just have to go for the top spec model, which is fair enough, I suppose. It's really nice and streamlined with Kias though, that it's just each trim gives you each thing. The only thing you need to pick is the colour. Top spec Aspire model does have the smart power tailgate, which is definitely a nice feature. Inside the Niro HEV boot, you'll find 451 litres of space, which is really quite decent. It's not quite as much as the 466 litres on the Kona HEV, but it's not far off. It's also much bigger than the Honda HR-V boot and also the Toyota CHR boot. I normally do really like these sorts of parcel shelves that are able to twist and stuff, but it looks a little bit crinkled already, so that's a little bit annoying, whereas the other one didn't. So it feels like maybe even thinner material that was used on the 2 spec that I previously had, maybe, but it's not a big deal. Again, it is saving weight, added to the efficiency of this vehicle. The Niro EV does have an even bigger boot with 475 litres, however the plug-in hybrid has a smaller boot because of the hybrid battery. This hybrid model though gives you plenty of underfloor storage, which is great, with your tyre inflation kit and also the bag for the parcel shelf, so you can store that away, which is nice. In here you've also got the Harman Kardon subwoofer on this Aspire model. This false floor is also standard on the car. And one of my favourite features on this Aspire model is the remote smart parking assist. A really handy feature and something I've actually used while I've had the car. So you just lock the car, press the hold button to turn the car on. Here we go. And then you can use the forward and backwards button to move the vehicle. It is so clever. Look at that. As soon as you let go, the car stops, and you'll be pleased to know it's very cautious, so it is very careful to not bump into anything, so really cool. It's a nice thing. When you lock the car again, it'll just put the handbrake on and stop the parking. I'm about 5'8". This is my driving position. I've got enough knee room and headroom's really decent too, thanks to the boxy shape. There's also like a carved out section here, so you've got a nice space here, which is good. You've got cheaper materials in the back than you do in the front. However, on this top spec model, you do have the heated outermost rear seats, which I really like. You've also got this little mat pocket on the back of each seat, very airliner styled in the hard plastic, but very easy to clean if you have kids. You've also got the climate that feeds through the front climate, which is nice, and a USB-C on the back of each seat. You do have this central armrest back here as well, which is very good quality with 2 cup holders, and the rear seats are really comfortable. They're nice and supportive. The floor has got a bit of a hump in it, not too bad. Let's check out the middle seat. The base is comfortable, but the back is a bit firm, as we see on most cars. So not the best and not the worst. Practicality though isn't bad on the back seats. I think this is quite good. It's a nice size that it's not too big, it's not too small. It's going to suit a lot of people. You do have ISOFIX points on the outer seats as well, which you can feel quite easily. They're nice, and the leatherette is nice and soft, so it is a comfortable car to sit in. Unfortunately though, there's no ISOFIX points on the front passenger seat like we see in a lot of Volkswagen Group vehicles, so that does let it down slightly. You do have these nice seatbelt guides, so that's good when you fold the seats down, and as you can see, it's pretty flat. You've got a nice boxy boot as well, so you've got plenty of practicality in this vehicle. You could slide long items up here. Not the best quality material though on the back, as you can see. Honda's solution with the HRV is a bit more clever than this, with their magic seats that also flip up in the cinema style, and they also do have a bit more quality hard wearing seat backs, so they'll last longer over time if you have the seats down a lot and have things on top. But of course you could always put a blanket or something like that over it if you are putting big items. Definitely I'd do that. The seats are also nice and lightweight, which is great. It makes it easy to fold them up, and again, it's saving weight in the vehicle. So that is my time up with the Kia Niro 2026 model year update, and what did I think? Well, those tweaks are very minor, but it just remains to be a great car. It's efficient, practical, comfortable, and does everything that you'd like a car to do. So it's a great daily car to drive day in, day out. Also, you don't need to charge it, so it's great if you don't have off-street parking and things like that, but you still want to have benefits of the electrification. The 6-speed DCT transmission is really smooth too, and quite unique for a hybrid system. The hybrid system's great as well. I've averaged about 52 miles per gallon in this doing shorter journeys, but earlier in the year, with the smaller wheels on the 2-spec, I managed over 66 miles per gallon. So I think you could get over 60 in this if you drove it carefully, especially for longer distances. The thing to top it all off is the 7-year warranty, and the excellent residual values on these cars make it an even more attractive offering. Interior layout is also really user-friendly, ergonomic, which makes it easy to use every day. So thanks again to Kia UK for lending me this Kia Niro for the week. I do have more Kia content coming up, so make sure to subscribe for that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.